Welcome to Maximize Living Radio. My name is Dr. Rosie Main, coming here every week to empower you to start changing your life from the inside out. And today I want to bring you information specifically on the germ theory versus the terrain theory of health and disease. And I know that many of you, know my philosophy as far as healing. We were designed to heal, and God gave us an amazing power in our bodies that knows exactly what to do to help our bodies. And so we were not left unequipped. And so I always go to this principle because this principle does not change, that literally our bodies are designed to know exactly what to do. So when we are sick, when we are expressing health, we call it in my home, it starts with the mindset. If you say you're sick, then as a man thinketh, so you are. So we in our household start with that. We want to make sure our kids know that their bodies have the ability to heal. And sometimes you get symptoms, which we call it expressing health. Our bodies know exactly what to do. So you get a fever, the body is doing exactly what it is designed to do, which is load up the temperature, raise it up so that it attacks the germ or the virus, whatever it is. And so my kids know this from the very beginning, and so they don't fear symptoms. We just know that we have to also honor the symptoms and start really changing what we're doing. And sometimes we are more vulnerable sometimes to these things when we're not living a good quality lifestyle. And so this is where it's always about making sure you honor those symptoms by what you do to your body. You're responsible for your health, not your government, not your doctor, not your insurance, not the CDC. You take care of your health. And so we want to talk about first the principle of the germ theory and the terrain theory today. Again, I'm Dr. Rosie Main. I'm a chiropractor. I'm here in Meridian, Idaho. My office is called Main Health Solutions, and I've been here for many years already. And so have been doing this radio program since 2006. And so love doing this to inspire you to start really thinking differently when it comes to health, because for many years I've taught this principle. Principles, what I love about principles, they don't change. The world changes, but the principle doesn't. And the one that we teach is that God, the power that made the body heals the body. And so that's how simple it is. This is what we've raised our children with. They're going to be 12 now, and they know and trust their bodies. And actually, luckily they've never had to use any medications. They've actually, never been vaccinated. They actually, don't even know what a medical doctor is. They've never visited one. And it's not that, they never will. There's a time and place for everything, I believe. But yet our hope is that we continue to remove those interferences. And in our world, we live with many interferences. Sometimes there's stress, sometimes interferences physically, sometimes nutritionally, sometimes, chemically. So now we live in a world that there's chemicals everywhere. So it's just a matter of trying to do what we can to unload those interferences and allow the body to express the way it's designed. And so that's the philosophy of chiropractic, that the power that made the body heals the body, that your nervous system carries an amazing God-given ability to heal. So for instance, for everything to work, your nervous system carries that message from your brain to your body, to every cell, tissue, and organ, so that it is designed to heal. So if your immune system is low, guess what? We know in our home, in our office, we know that the first thing we want to check is the nervous system. If there's nerve interference, I don't care how many nutrients you take in, detox protocols, whatever, if your nervous system can't actually tell your body to function the way it should, it's not ever going to function, and then the body expresses health. So this is where we want to go back and remove those interferences physically first. So as a chiropractor, we always suggest that if you've never had your children checked for interference in their spine, or you yourself have never been assessed by a chiropractor to see how your nervous system is functioning, that you would start there. And this is why we always give you that opportunity for you to do this exam at our office. We do this typically from this radio show or our ads on Facebook. We do it typically it's $180, and we do it for only $40 to first find out what nervous system interference there is. And so you can give us a call if you want to make this appointment. You can call 208-859-6170. That's 208-859-6170. Again, my name is Dr. Rosie Main, and I'm in Meridian as a chiropractor. Again, the whole premise is also teaching people about the principles of health. And so everyone gets sick from time to time, but what you need to notice is that some people seem to catch the flu or this virus or this COVID. Every season, people get sick. You get colds frequently, while only some get minor sniffles once in a while. Even with my twins, you have the same genetics, but yet one sometimes can express health and others won't. And what I mean by expressing health is express symptoms. I call it expressing health. Again, in our household, we call it expressing health because your body's doing the right thing at the right time for the right reason. And so I know that sometimes I've never heard this term, so I have to repeat myself. But some people recover quickly, whereas others deal with coughs or fatigue even weeks after initially getting sick. So why are some people more vulnerable to infections and have a more difficult time recovering than others? How can you improve your health to reduce your risk of frequent or prolonged infections and illnesses? This is what I want to talk about today. So I will explain what the germ theory of health is and what are its origins. And I will share what the terrain theory of health is and what the origins are. And I also want to talk about just for you to understand the difference between the two theories, and you'll understand what our modern healthcare system is based on the germ theory and what the gaps are in the system. And so I want to also share with you today natural strategies to optimize your terrain and improve your health and well-being. So let's start first with what the germ theory of health believes, which is that germs or pathogens can lead to disease. And these pathogens are microorganisms such as bacteria or viruses, non-living pathogens. So these microorganisms are not visible to your eyes without using magnification. So they can invade animals and humans and cause disease by growing and reproducing. And so this is what the germ theory believes, that disease arises due to exposure to germs outside the body. And it believes that, the function, shape, or color of these microorganisms are constant, and every disease is associated with specific microorganisms. It also believes that we should protect ourselves against germs to tend to support vaccinations as a way of protection. But it pays little attention to the health of our cells and the strength of our immune system. So instead, it focuses on the idea that disease from germs can strike at anybody. The main emphasis of the germ theory of health is killing of the germs. And so this was all, it goes back to ancient times. There was this concept of the germ theory, was in the Middle Ages. So there's different founders from this, but mainly there's one person specifically that this is attributed to, which influenced Louis Pasteur as the father of the germ theory. And so Pasteur demonstrated that disease microorganisms in the environment are the ones causing disease instead of the air itself. And so, for example, the idea of catching a cold started before we knew how much about the microbial life, and the thought was that the cold air itself could cause you to become ill. But Pasteur's germ theory of health was later further developed by Robert Koch and other scientists laying on the main foundation of this theory. But the reality is that this was basically then changed to what is called now, what is the terrain theory of health. And so This is one of the biggest things we need to learn. Because most people are not talking about the terrain theory, even with this COVID concept. It's all about outside in, that we need to protect with a mask or a vaccine instead of maybe looking at things differently. Again, God does not leave us unequipped. He put an amazing immune system in our bodies to protect us. He knew there was going to be germs and viruses and all these things. And so our bodies already know exactly what to do when these microorganisms come into play in our body. And we are already filled with microorganisms and viruses and bugs in our body, parasites. And actually, we need to learn how beautifully equipped our bodies are. So while the germ theory of health believes that disease is caused by germs and can affect anyone, this theory, the terrain theory, believes that germs cannot cause infection and disease unless the conditions within the body allow it. And an unhealthy body may be the feeding ground for the growth and the reproduction of these microbes, whereas a healthy body is a poor host where microbes cannot take up residence and cause illness. This is the terrain theory. And to put it simply, it's as simple as this. If you have 2 trash cans that are clean and one trash can gets filled up with garbage and the other one remains unused, where trash can would rats want to migrate to? The clean trash can or the dirty, filled garbage trash can? Apparently, we all know that it's the dirty, garbage and filled trash can that is going to attract these rats. The clean trash can will not be an environment that rats want. And so this is where we need to understand how this terrain theory comes to play in our bodies. It's also called the cellular theory of health, and your terrain is your internal environment within your body. A diseased and unhealthy body may attract pathogenic germs and cannot fend for itself, whereas a healthy body may repel them or keep them in balance. So this terrain theory believes that disease will happen due to germs inside the body instead of outside of them. And it believes that microorganisms change function, shape, and color depending on their environment. And it explains that we need microorganisms and they can actually help to develop important metabolic functions and help our bodies if we provide a healthy environment for them. So the terrain theory explains that an unhealthy body environment attracts disease. And in order to prevent and fight disease, we need to create health. So it places a major emphasis on the health of our cells and the strength of our immune system. And so this theory of terrain theory of health tends to be a vaccine hesitant and puts less emphasis on killing germs through constant sanitation or use of antibiotics. Instead, it places, it looks at germs as an important asset to building health homeostasis in the body. And so this parallels well with restoring balance and homeostasis to our microbiome. And so this terrain theory, of course, was introduced by Claude Bernard and Antoine Béchamp. And these theories are the exact opposite of the germ theory that Pasteur talked about. And it looks more at a holistic look at disease. And so this idea that an unhealthy body environment is more likely to attract and be a good host for disease, and explains why, for example, the exact same virus is the same flu season may affect certain people more than others. And so this is where people don't want to take responsibility for their health. We sometimes don't want to change our thinking. We don't want to change the way we view our health. We don't want to change the way we live. We want to just be passive. And so it also challenges people to look at things differently, that they have to be responsible to take care of their bodies. And Western medicine and modern healthcare have been focusing on this germ theory of health for over 150 years. And they believe that, pathogens, including bacteria and viruses, parasites, are the main cause of disease. And for this reason, they have been playing a major emphasis on sterilization, and that there's not, benefits of, sterilization and cleaning your hands. If you need surgery, for example, you certainly want an operating room to be clean to avoid infections, washing your hands and cleaning your hands, and it has its benefits. However, this overemphasis on sterilization and killing germs takes away from creating a healthy environment in our body. And so over-sterilization, antibiotics, or antibiotic soaps, and just all these things may actually make you more vulnerable to infections and illnesses. And so our modern healthcare, which is based on the germ theory, puts little to no emphasis on supporting and strengthening the body. And instead, it just tries to control our external environment and treat symptoms of the disease. So on the other hand, holistic, natural, and functional health practitioners like myself understand the importance of creating homeostasis within our body, improving our health through nutrition and lifestyle, optimizing our microbiome and internal environment to prevent disease and improve recovery. So we want to optimize our terrain. And so this is what we continuously, every time I come on this radio show, we try to show you how to assist and live the 5 essentials to remove those interferences that are creating these issues with bad health. We now know that, chronic disease such as diabetes, heart disease, cancer, all these are lifestyle induced, that the reality is that we need to be responsible to remove those things to allow the body to start functioning the way God designed. And so this is why I always invite you to make sure you start living those 5 essentials and learning what to do. Sometimes you need assistance, and we do this in our office. As a chiropractor first, like I said before, we always assess the nervous system first to see how it's functioning. But in our office, where the difference is we also start digging into the other lifestyle changes, such as, are you stressed? Where's your mindset? Exercise. Are you exercising? Are you eating right? Are you avoiding toxins? It all matters. So we are all encompassing. And so this is where we want to invite you to see what we can do to help you with your health. My name again is Dr. Rosie Main. I'm a chiropractor in Meridian. My office is called Main Health Solutions, and we want to invite you to come in and see what your nervous system, how it's doing, how your spinal function. If there's problems with your spine, it's going to affect the way your body functions. So we always start there, and we're going to invite you to do that first. And so we do this, typically it's an exam, x-rays of your spine to see what's going on. And so we do this, typically it's $180, and we do it for only $40. And so you can pick up the phone and call me at 208-859-6170. 208-859-6170. So now we want to talk about what can we do to actually optimize your terrain, specifically now more than ever. This is so important, and very important to start changing the way you live. And very large exposures to pathogenic microbes can be very dangerous, but small exposures can actually prime our immune system. So we want to be resilient to these things by maximizing your immune system. And so there's a concept called hormesis. It's a theory of health that explains how exposure to dirt, dander, germs early in life and consistently throughout life make our immune system function better. So for example, kids who grow up on farms have much lower rates of asthma, allergies, and autoimmune diseases as opposed to children who grow up in urban environments. This is thought to be due to the increased microbial exposure on the farm that challenges the body's immune system to adapt early in life. With that said, we know that everyone can benefit from optimizing their terrain or creating a better environment within their body. So if you want to experience increased energy, improved health, and more happiness in life, follow, just a good anti-inflammatory nutrition plan. So what you put in your body matters. If you're feeding your body with unhealthy inflammatory foods, you're setting up an unhealthy terrain. that may attract infections or disease. So if you're nurturing your body with healthy anti-inflammatory foods, you are actually allowing your body to create a healthy homeostasis that can protect you. So eliminate inflammatory foods such as refined sugar, refined oil, artificial ingredients, conventional meat and dairy, processed foods, deep fried foods, and junk food, and honor your body with an anti-inflammatory nutrition plan. Abundant and nutrient-dense foods such as organic greens or vegetables or low glycemic index fruits, herbs, spices, nuts and seeds, fermented food, healthy fats, and clean protein from pasture-raised beef or free-range poultry and eggs and wild-caught fish. There's a plethora of things that I talk about continuously on this radio show that you can do. The next thing is have a positive mindset. Your body's health not only depends on the foods that you put in it, having a negative mindset can bring your energy down, and it increases your stress levels and leads to poor sleeping habits. Having a negative mindset, feeling stressed or sad or overwhelmed, may also increase your risk of unhealthy habits, such as eating sugary junk food or skipping your exercise routine. To develop a positive mindset, I just recommend you that you surround with positive people. Pay attention to your thoughts. Be in gratitude. Daily, continuously thank God for the amazing power that He's given you to heal. Thank God for the ability for your immune system to function. Thank God for everything. Have just continuously be in gratitude, pray, or engage in other spiritual practices such as meditation or being with Him, being silent with Him, seeking out laughter and humor. If you are used to thinking negatively, it may feel weird to do this at first, but just catch yourself when you're not. And give thanks, to the people around you too. Other things, you can optimize your sleep habits. I think that reducing stress and sleep habits is optimal for just having a better immune system. When you reduce your stress, you actually, your lifestyle habits and all this, it helps your body. So support it by, making sure that you're not having all these electronics or caffeine or foods that before bedtime that will negate you to have your good sleep. Also reduce a toxic load. Right now, we're in a world full of toxins in our air, in our water, in our household items, and this also suppresses our immune system. There's so many things to do, and this is why we call them the 5 essentials in our office. We teach our patients that typically, everything matters. And it's not about being perfect, but start changing the way you live, the way you eat, the way you move, the way you think, and your body starts to function better. So, I want to leave you with that the reality, there's so many things that you can start doing, but the number one thing is that you start acting, that you start changing the way you live. So my final thoughts here is that you have to start thinkingly, that when it comes to the world, in Proverbs 14:12, it says there's a way that seems right to man, but in the end, it's a way to death. That right now there's people sick, suffering, and dying out there, and they believe the lie that they are weak, that they can't, that sometimes a thief comes to lie, steal, and destroy. And like it says in John 10:10, but Jesus came to give life in abundance. And so we have to remind ourselves that we are made to be powerful. We are made to be strong and abundant. So you have to start changing and acting differently and not just believing what the world is telling you. So I urge you right now. Lastly, again, my name is Dr. Rosie Main. I want to see what we can do to help you. If you are right now just not doing good with your health, I want to see what we can do to help you, and we will try our best with whatever infinite wisdom that God gave us us, with his healing methods. But, if I really can't, I also want you to know that we work with a lot of doctors around the city that we are willing to, work together with you. But you have to ask. So give us a call. My number is 208-859-6170. 208-859-6170 to receive this offer to start with your nervous system getting checked with our exam and x-rays to see what's going on with your spine. And again, my number is 208-859-6170. You can make this appointment for only $40, and we hope to see you soon. God bless you. Take care, and we'll talk to you next week.